You asked them what was wrong. They said nothing. And here's the part that's hard to believe. They weren't lying to you. In that moment, there genuinely was nothing available to say. Their heart rate was somewhere north of 100. The part of the brain that finds words had gone offline, and the only thing still working was the part that gets you out of the room. You read it as coldness. It was closer to a power cut. 5 things happening inside that silence, and at the end, the one sentence that ends it faster than any question you could ask. Start with the thing that gets misread most. Researchers who study couples in conflict measure what's happening in the body while people argue, not just what they say. They found a threshold. Once heart rate climbs past roughly 100 beats a minute, people stop being able to take in new information. They can't problem solve. They can't hear nuance. They start missing things said directly to them. The name for it is flooding, and it isn't a mood. It's a physical state with a measurable pulse. And a flooded body has exactly 3 moves: fight, flee, or go completely still. Some people fight, some people leave, and some people go still while remaining in the chair, which looks like stubbornness from the outside. So the first correction is simple. This is not the silent treatment. Not yet. Right now it is a system that has hit its limit. The second misread is assuming nothing is happening. Psychologists separate 2 ways of handling a feeling. You can change how you're thinking about it, or you can keep the feeling and just stop it reaching your face. The second one is called expressive suppression, and it has been studied a great deal. Here's the finding that matters. Suppressing the expression does not lower the arousal underneath it. In several studies, the physical response goes up, not down. It also costs memory. People who spend a conversation holding their face still remember noticeably less of what was actually said in it. Which explains something you may have noticed. They go quiet, and then genuinely can't recall parts of the argument later. So the calm face isn't the absence of a reaction. It's the cost of holding one down. Nobody is born doing this. It's a strategy, and strategies come from somewhere. Picture a house where saying you're upset makes the next hour worse. Where the complaint gets argued with, or turned around, or met with a bigger emotion that you then have to manage. A child in that house runs the numbers very quickly. Speaking costs more than staying quiet. So silence gets learned as the cheapest available move. And it works. That's the important part. It genuinely works at the time. The problem is that it doesn't come with an off switch when the house changes. 20 years later, in a room with someone who would actually have listened, the same strategy fires anyway. They're not refusing to speak to you. They're using a rule that was written before you arrived. Now the loop, because this is where most of the damage actually happens. Researchers have a name for the pattern. One person pursues, the other withdraws. You ask again, slightly louder. They close slightly further. So you ask again. And each round confirms both people's story. Yours is that they don't care. Theirs is that the room isn't safe. This pattern is one of the more reliable predictors of a relationship going badly. Not the arguing, the shape of it. And there is a specific reason pushing fails here. A flooded body needs about 20 minutes to come back down. Every new question inside those 20 minutes resets the clock. Which means the fastest way to get an answer is to stop asking for one, for a while. Now the part these videos usually leave out, and it's the part that actually matters. Everything so far describes self-protection. Someone overwhelmed, going quiet because they've run out of capacity. But there is a second thing that looks identical from the outside and is not the same at all. Silence used as a punishment. Withholding contact until the other person gives in. That version does real harm. Being deliberately ignored registers in the brain much the way physical pain does. Researchers have watched it happen on a scanner. So here is the test, and it's about what happens after, not during. Self-protection comes back. It comes back awkwardly, often badly, but it comes back and it tries to explain. Punishment doesn't come back until it has won. The length is the leverage, and that's the tell. One of them is out of words. The other one is using their absence as a lever. Only one of those is something you should be patient with. So what actually ends it? Not the questions. If you're the one who goes quiet, the whole fix is one sentence, and it can be said badly. I've hit my limit. I'm not walking out. Give me 20 minutes, and I'll come back to this. That single line converts the thing everyone reads as rejection into something they can wait through. Same silence, completely different meaning. And if you're the one being gone quiet on, the move is almost the opposite of instinct. Say you're not going anywhere, give a time you'll check back, and then actually stop. You're not rewarding the silence. You're removing the pressure that's holding it in place. And if the silence still runs for days, and it always ends the moment you apologize for something you didn't do, that isn't flooding anymore. That's a pattern, and it's worth naming out loud. Most people who go quiet aren't trying to hurt you. They ran out of words, in a house that taught them words were expensive. Give them the 20 minutes. Then ask once, gently, and mean it. If this describes someone you know, subscribe. One of these every week. Read people, not minds.